Welcome back, everyone. Going into the second half here of Drop Frames, where we talk about games that we've actually played.
Before we do that,
okay.
Are you guys? How many of those new Gap hoodies did you guys order?
I ordered all of them, and I'm going to actually set fire to them later in my backyard. We've called everyone in the neighborhood to watch them burn, and yeah, they are in a way creating unity.
Those aren't gender reveal hoodies?
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have some very confused guests next week.
Yes, that's true. That is true. It's okay.
Yeah, anyways. They deleted the tweet.
They deleted it?
Long story short.
I didn't realize they deleted it. Good for them.
Yeah, they did. Long story short, it was a red and blue hoodie, like, hey, can't we all get along? Zip.
It's like red and blue, and the Gap is reverse colors on the inside. So they tried to like marketize political strife in America.
Yeah.
And probably one of like the worst times.
Yeah.
Now, if any of y'all are Futurama fans, it looks like exactly like the Blips and the Cruds from Futurama, the fake alien gang. Because they wore like, no, he's wearing red on the left side. That means he's a blip.
It's true. It was a ridiculous tweet. I'm glad that they deleted it. It's good stuff. Anyways, video games, we sometimes play them here to steal from another show. It's fine. I was going to say don't steal that or don't DMCA us, but that wouldn't work. Anyways, let's move forward and get out of this pit that I keep digging. Watch Dogs. It's not that good. I felt like it was I was really into it. I wouldn't say I was really into it. I would say I was into it. And then 10 hours later, I was like, all right, I get this game. I understand the Watch Dogs thing, and I'm going to stop playing now. And that's kind of how I got around. I do wonder, though, we'll get to the actual game. Cody, you think turning off the music hurt the experience for you? Because I think it hurt the experience for me.
I mean, it certainly could have. It certainly could have. But do I think it's like the difference into why I ended up disliking the game? No.
True.
I definitely think that it could have caused an issue.
Yeah.
Not that much of an issue.
Yeah.
Quick question. I saw someone tweeting out about it because I'm sure there's a few people out there who really like the news radio stations or podcast stuff in like games like GTA or Watch Dogs. I heard that when you get into a car, like the podcast would just start at the beginning again.
Couldn't tell you. I played the game with the music and radio off. Like I never heard it a singular time. So I can't answer that. I don't know if Ko had a different experience. I think he turned it off pretty quick as well, but
I turned it off pretty much instantly.
Yeah. A lot of people in chat are saying that the music was definitely not amazing, and that was indeed a problem, though, Zeke. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame.
It seems like a very silly oversight to do that. Like they mastered that in like what, GTA 3?
Yeah.
Where it was like, no, we'll catch all of the podcasts and little snippets here and there because it keeps going, or the radio show because it keeps going. So you'll get the full picture because it doesn't restart every time. But it's like every time, if every time I got in car, it's like, hi, this is Dan Weasley, and just want to talk to you about this. Oh, get out of that car, get in new one. Hi, this is Dan Weasley, and I just want to. That would fucking annoy the shit out of me.
Yeah, I could see how that would.
Sorry. Anyway.
No, I mean it's a.
Did you guys do
that? Has been solved in open world games without a doubt. So it should not be an issue anymore for sure. What were we gonna say?
Were you guys part of the mob of streamers that were like old people only squad? Did you guys do that?
I definitely did. I think Ko tried.
I didn't make it very far with it.
I'll. This is gonna sound like a duh when I say it, but it turns out when you play only old people, you kind of suck at a lot of things, and it kind of makes the game take a lot more time than it would if I was just playing normally.
Can confirm, I'm old.
Yeah, like this is top speed for this particular character. And it was fun to like do the missions as this person hobbling around or finding I found like I don't remember what her day job was. It was essentially a grandmother who for some reason carried a grenade launcher. And like that was fun because cops would come up to me and be like, hey, what are you doing? And I'd like, hobble away. Like, hey, get back here. Then they'd like hit me over the back of the head and I'd fall over and then just turn around and shoot them with a fucking grenade launcher. And you're like, all right, that's some pretty good absurdity. Like I'm kind of into this, just being really ridiculous and comical. And then the rest of the game was just like bland, right? Like that. I feel like Watch Dogs has always been at this impasse where they try to make a serious game, but they have absurd features in it. And it rides this line of just being boring because it won't commit to one or the other. And this game, I feel like they really could have amped up the absurdity because I'm playing a 70-year-old dude who can just whip out a shotgun at will and like, or get on the back of a giant drone and fly around London. But then I go back into the story and it's like, the dead sec is you got to go to this AR thing and look at the murder case and solve a thing to see if the Echo Fox did a murder. And it's like, I want to fly on the back of this thing and launch grenades at the fucking people below me, right? Like, give me some of that absurd factor.
For extra added realism, did the old people that you recruited, were they of varying inadvertent to overtly racist?
No, they did
like
have
your
accents.
Grandma or your grandpa, like they say.
They definitely had accents, and some of them were more lively than the others. The C word was thrown around a lot, as you do in London, from one particular grandmother that I had, which, again, it was very, absurd and comical. But you jump back into the story, and it's just like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, we got to go hack the thing, and there's an AR thing. Okay, let's investigate this AR stuff. But yeah, it was just boring at the end of the day when I had to go to the story stuff.
Sorry, Jay Jonah J said, Queen with the CU. Like, is that the word?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the word.
That's accurate.
Oh, that tickled me. I don't know why.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, did I hurt my experience by only playing old people in the game? Probably, yeah. Because the second that an old person died, and I did have some people just like, I was playing permadeath, they just flat out died. And it went to the like 3 DLC characters that you mentioned last episode, Co, that you just get because we were given the gold copy of the game or whatever, gold edition of the game. Those people, it was like I was playing a different game. It was like I was playing Call of Duty in some of these missions where I just walk in with an AK and just destroy the mission. Then I go back in as an old person. It's like, all right, we got to sneak around and like tase this person because I have a pistol that like does no damage whatsoever. But I wanted that absurd factor. It didn't deliver it to me. The story didn't really go anywhere in the time that I played it. I quit right around the time that you start getting into a character that I think does like human and organ trafficking. So it seems like they were getting to like maybe be a little bit absurd. But it was also like super serious at the same time. And I don't know. I wasn't into it. It also, one other issue that I had with the game, and then Co, I'm going to let you get your thoughts in. It takes way too much to recruit someone. The fact that you like recruit someone, you have to do this really long drawn out mission to go and get, I don't know, passport papers on their son or grandson or some shit. Like, just let me recruit that person right away. I walk up to them. They already know who the fuck DedSec is. I shouldn't have to like convince them. Just like, hey, you're DedSec? Yeah, you want to join us? Cool, great. You're playing as that person. Done. Like, that's how it should have worked, in my opinion. But it didn't, and I didn't like having to do the same boring nonsense mission of like, go do this purely cookie cutter mission. It's going to have no impact on the game whatsoever so that you can use Marge because she has a shotgun. I just had a lot of issues with that, but yeah, I would say like if I had to rate it, it's like a 6 6.5 out of 10 or something like that. It's fine. It's average. There's a reason this game came out, a week or two before all of the big rush of November. And that's because it's a little bit lackluster. So those are my thoughts on Watch Dogs. Co, what'd you think of the game after revisiting it?
After revisiting it, I definitely had more fun with my second playthrough. I got this kind of like Jamaican dude that was a little bit more grounded, I feel. The first guy just kind of gave me a terrible first impression for the game. So I did want to try it again just to see if it would be any different. Second time was good. But there were just a lot of things about the game that just, like you said, it just didn't grab me. Like when I started doing the part, it's slightly spoilers, but about the bodies and the disappearing stuff, it started to get a little bit interesting, and then I kind of realized where I thought it was going, and it kind of lost a lot of its luster for me. I also kept running into bugs every so often and just weirdness. Like at the very beginning of the game, I picked my new guy, and I walk into that like first area, and one of the first people I see is, it's like, this guy is a brother of your character, and I was like, oh, like, how cool, like, let's recruit him. And I go up and talk to this guy, and it's the same generic dialogue as every other person, to the point where he's like, hey, what's up, you look like you want to help London or something. And it's like, that's your brother. And like, he gave him like a mission and stuff, and it's just like, what is even going on right now? Like there was zero, like, why would you even put that why would you even make the distinction that he's a relative?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said, hey, you look smart. And it's like, what? You didn't grow up with this guy?
Yeah.
But it was very weird. And so I don't know, like the game, it felt very much outside of how it looked. I did think it looked very pretty, but I just kept running into like little AI issues and cover issues and some of the mechanics and stuff where I just felt like it was very just Ubisoft, like it wasn't really trying to be anything more than what they've done a bunch of times before. And the stuff that was new, like that character recruitment stuff, just felt totally uninspired and just like you said, cookie cutter. Like every single person being like, opening message, oh, you must be DedSec message. Choose random quest, accept random quest, gain character. It's just like there was no nuance. There was no interesting thing. It was just, again, as kind of like as basic as it could get. Now, that being said, there were parts about it that were fun. It was a standard Ubisoft fare that I played. So, a lot of the mechanics that we've come to expect worked, and they worked fine. So it's weird because I wouldn't say it's like a bad game. I think if you go in with the right expectations and you're kind of expecting what it is, you could probably have a fine time in this game, especially people that are fans of the other two.
Yeah. I'd agree.
But if you're going into this game kind of being like, hey, I want to see like the next step for this franchise, all the parts that I feel could have been that way just really weren't. The perk system's kind of cool. I love how many perks they have. That part's kind of interesting.
It was pretty varied.
But yeah, but again, it seemed like there were more bugs than there should have been in a lot of ways. And just the lack of inspiration, just kind of, I came expecting more than I got. And that kind of like pulled my experience down to the point where I was just kind of like, I'd rather play something else.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I ultimately went to. I think I also I feel like open world games these days have to have some sort of absurdity to them, or it's just like
some kind of innovation.
Yeah,
you need to have
something unique.
Like, yeah, exactly. They have to have something that's just we haven't done in 20 other containers before.
Yeah, and I think that they approached that uniqueness with the idea of like you can play as anyone, but they kind of missed it a little bit there. And like this part was fun. I enjoyed, for the 10 hours that I played, when you walk around as a grandmother or grandfather, an old person, you have a taser, and like you're like kicking people's shins and like shocking them in the neck and stuff like that. And it's really absurd and hilarious in a lot of different ways. And the hacking stuff is cool because you can just like make a car go in reverse. But after you do that, 20 or 15 times, it's the same thing. So I just wanted like a little bit different, a little bit more of the absurdity meter cranked up for me. And trust me, it was still kind of silly doing stuff like this. But you can only do this so many times before it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's another one of these missions. So those are my biggest issues with the game. Did you do any of the auto driving stuff? Because for me, that was the one thing
Yeah.
that I got the most fun out of, was
I
watching
enjoyed that.
the AI, for the most part, work. In a lot of cases, if I went under an underpass, the game would think that I was on the highway above it. And so it would just stop and like slowly start going in reverse and then just gun it and then slowly start going in reverse. And so I had a lot of fun just like watching the AI try to figure out what it thought was going on when it came to the auto drive stuff. It was nice. I hope more
I like
games
being able to put the car
implement that.
into auto drive and just talk to chat for a bit. Like
Yeah,
that was kind of
100%.
awesome.
Yeah.
Catch up on things, and like that was really cool. And yeah, I definitely got a few oddities too. Like at one point, like a guy in a bike got in a crash in front of me, so he just stayed on his bike. Like he got his bike back up and stayed on it, but then everyone backed up behind him. So I got out and I'm like looking at it, like, oh look, the whole thing collapsed right here. And all of a sudden, like one of the guard/cop guys stops and walks over to me and starts pushing me, like, hey, get out of here, get out of here. And I'm just like, get out, like what? Like I'm in the middle of the road looking at these guys, like there was some real weirdness with the game.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the AI just broke down completely. And that would happen in missions too. Like sometimes the AI just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
People running back and forth for no reason, somebody like aiming into a corner of two walls, just not moving. It's just kind of like, okay.
my favorite bit with the auto drive stuff happened when I wasn't even there. I put in auto drive with like a waypoint across the city, and I was like, all right, chat, I gotta go use the restroom. I'll be right back. When I get back, hopefully I'm there. I stand up. No more than 3 to 4 seconds after I leave, the auto drive goes, you have arrived at your destination, and just stops. It's just, there's nothing happening for the next like minute or so that I'm away. So it definitely seems like there are issues that exist. I only had one game breaking bug, and I'm not even sure what it was. It felt like there was just like essentially what I had to do is on the character that I was playing, they had a combat roll. And for some reason I couldn't zoom in the phone camera to take photos of dead bodies until I like rolled. And for some reason that allowed me to zoom in on the phone. And so that was like the only one that I saw.
More than a few people, including I think Dan, actually got hit by it. Got corrupted saves, like many hours of progress lost.
Do they know like what caused the corruption, or is it just random?
Not that I know of.
It wasn't that mission, right? That they were talking about for the
the
Xbox
404 one? No,
yeah.
that was a separate issue. I think
Okay.
that was an overheating thing on Xboxes specifically. I believe. No, I think it's like lots of people lost like 10+ hours, like not just a handful, like a good amount.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Co, would you agree that this is like a discount purchase?
I'd say it's a discount purchase for fans of Watch Dogs.
Okay.
If you're looking for like an innovation on open world gameplay, I don't know if you're really gonna find it here. If you didn't like the previous Watch Dogs, I don't think there's anything in this to kick it over.
Sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
This game also makes me like a little bit worried about AC Valhalla. I hope we're not going to see quite as many like streamlined, generalized mechanics. I mean, of course it's going to be Assassin's Creed, but they did show a lot of like relatively interesting things in the stuff for AC Valhalla. So yeah. I'm hoping that's going to be enough to kind of fight away this feeling of like, here we go again. I guess we'll see. Not much longer now.
I think where
I wonder if it's going to be buggy.
I don't know. I mean, it's on new consoles, so you never. But who knows? It depends on like development time and all that stuff. We talked or used the phrase, if you're a fan of this game with Watch Dogs. I think with AC, like I am a fan of AC, so I'll play through any of those issues most likely because I just enjoy the core gameplay of that. But I hope you're right as well. I hope that it's not buggy. I hope that it's they deliver on that, and there's a reason that they're using that as like their big next gen game, and Watch Dogs is not is the one that came
flagship.
Yeah, the flagship for sure.
Zeke, what did you think? Did you get any time with Watch Dogs?
I did. I had about an hour with it, hour and a half, something like that.
Oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I forgot you played it.
Listen, I played it. I showed off what RTX could do with it, and I feel like I was just like, this is one of those times where I'm like, what do I get? The 3080? Okay. How long? An hour? I can do that. That's totally fine by me. I can do that. So I showed off what the 3080 can do. Like, I showed all the reflections I could and shit like that. I drove around a little bit. I did a couple of the missions. And, like, it's okay. It's not a bad game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It does seem like, with the hour that I took with it, it does seem like it wouldn't be, like... I spend time in it like I spend time in Far Cry, just fucking around and blowing shit up.
Sure.
You know? It seems like the missions would be less important to me. However, I will say that I saw chat talking about it, and they said it gets really dark, which is appealing to me. I would love to see it go to the dark side of like story subject matter and shit like that.
Yeah.
So but I didn't get anywhere near that.
It takes about 8 or 9 hours, I think, to get to that. That's right where I stopped, essentially, Zeke. So,
yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I did this for the video card, and I didn't feel like. I mean, I let everybody know it's like, this is the reason I'm doing it, and I'm not getting paid by Watch Dogs. I'm going to show you what this thing can do. Like the video graphics card can do. I'll show you all the shit. Like, I'll turn everything on to ultra and all that kind of stuff. The game itself is just kind of like the stage I was showing, like performing on for that thing. But yeah, not much of an opinion on it. It doesn't seem like something I'd go back to. It didn't grab me in the hour that I was playing it. Like, I get the whole like, fight the power shit, but for something like this, I tend more towards like the Yakuza games where it gets kind of like absurd and like funny and ridiculous and shit like that. So
same, for sure. My favorite part, and I don't know why I forgot that you played this, because Uplay reminded me every fucking time that you started the game. I think like last Thursday, Uplay pushed their Uplay Connect or whatever their new like Uplay experience is. And there was an issue with not being able to turn off the notifications.
Ubisoft Connect?
Oh, yeah.
Ubisoft Connect, yeah. And so you couldn't turn off connections. And so the day prior to your sponsored stream, you were having an issue, I think, getting the game to like boot or something like that. I saw you talking about it in Slack. And every time you would start the game, it was Ezekiel_II has started playing Watch Dogs. And I was like, oh, cool. And then right after, Shorty Guy has started playing Watch Dogs. I'm like, great. Thanks. Shroud has logged into Uplay and has started playing. God damn it, stop. So that was a fun one. Yeah. That was a fun one. I don't know if that's been fixed, if you can actually like finally toggle off those notifications yet in the new Uplay thing. But as of last Thursday, it was fucking annoying because every 5 seconds I just got notifications. Totally disregarding of the actual state of the game, but yeah. How do you like the art? We didn't really talk about the graphics of it, but the RTX stuff, pretty good showcase of it. Like it looks pretty good. It's a good looking game.
Yeah,
yeah,
very much so.
Yeah,
that's part of it. How it looked.
Yeah, I want to see more of that for sure. Zeke, I also saw you jumped into some Baldur's Gate.
Oh yeah.
Let's start the conversation with what was your character's name?
Oh God.
My character's name was Nibeldem. Nibeldem, she's a half elf. Nibeldem Shu'gahtitz. That was my character's name. Daughter of Gobbledom. Yes, so Nibeldem Shu'gahtitz is my the character I'm playing. She's a half elf warlock. I did the random like character attribute, or not attributes, random character like face and body and arms and stuff like that. Yeah. Not a lot of, they keep it pretty proportional and not like ridiculous looking. Yeah. Which, okay, fine. I was hoping there was going to be like, Dark Souls where you can like have your eyes super separate, You have like a caved in head or something like that. But there's not that much character customization options. God damn though. This game is fucking fun, man. Like
It's good.
it took Divinity Original Sin, which I played like 4 or 5 hours of. It took Divinity Original Sin, and it put it in a system that I know. I know 5e, and I know spells, and I know what they do, and it was cool to see like names I recognize, like, oh shit, I get Melf's Acid Arrow. Awesome.
Yep.
Holy shit, I met Volo. That's great, you know? So that bridged the gap that I think was missing for me with Divinity. I love the Twitch integration is fucking fantastic.
It was. Or is.
Yeah. I'm letting chat make all my choices. As long as they're not like you know, the two choices where it's like talk or leave. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna talk. So other than that, the chat is making all the choices for me. There was I love how chaotic it can be, because like there was one point where I walked up on these like fishermen, and you could tell they were being like controlled by a mind flayer who was injured or whatever. And Chad was like, no, rescue them. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay, I will. So I like rescued them. I killed the mind flayer that was controlling them. They were all grateful. They came up and talked to me. And then Chad was like, rob them. And I was like, okay, sounds good.
Yep.
So I love that. It was like, you're free, but you got to give me everything. Get butt naked right now. Do it. And then they were like, no. And I was like, all right, I guess we kill you. So
Yeah.
we did. We killed all the fishermen we just rescued. Chad is a cruel and weird mistress.
Well, in a lot of ways, it's reminiscent or indicative of like how a actual 5th edition or Dungeons and Dragons experience would go.
Yeah,
In terms
for sure.
of like the escalation that occurs when a PC walks into any scenario, usually ends in like, well, we're gonna fight then, and then you roll initiative. Right?
Yeah.
So it's cool that they put that stuff in there.
Yeah. I'm glad they allow you to like certain things. Like I had to change keybinds, like the rotating of the screen. I had to map to Q and E.
Yeah.
But everything seems customizable. The other thing that I really like about it, like you were saying, it feels like a D&D game. Like, oh, I got a grease spell and alchemist fire. Do these work like they do in the game? Yep. Just throw the grease down, throw the everything is on fire. Like it's fantastic. Like you can get like goofy combinations, goofy shit. And once again, like having Chad choose it is so much more fun, because I don't know, like I would say 70% of the time they take the option that I would have taken, like the obvious choice. Like, do you want to, like, this guy's like, shall I join you? And it's like, yes, join us, fight him, leave. Most of the time they're like, yes, join us, you know. But the one, you know, the 30% of the time where it's like you're talking to a little kid and they're like, fight the kid. You're like, all right, we'll do it. Let's go. I ended up killing like half of a population because Chad was like, no, we don't like this person.
Wait, in the first town? Is that what you're talking about?
I think
the Druid Sanctum area?
Yes.
Oh, you just murdered all the kids when you walked into that town?
No. The kids, no. I was following a rat. Because the rat was like, rat told me about something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the rat was like, hey, you can speak with animals. Let me show you something. I was like, I can't get in there, rat. How do I? All right, I'm going to break down the door. And that was, they should have just fined me for the door is all I'm saying. If they would have fined me for the door, well, this is how it got weird, because they come up to you, they're like, hey, you did that, right? And Chad always, nope, didn't see what happened. Like the guy's like, you're a liar. Everybody saw you break this door. You're coming with me. And I was like, Chad, we have a choice. We can go with them peacefully, or we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight him. Okay, we'll fight him. And every time, like 5 times in a row, a new guard would come up and be like, "Hey, about that door, you broke it, right?" "No, I wasn't even here. I don't know what you're talking about." And then we fought him. But however, I will say, like, even though half of the upstairs whatever cave, like the druid garden thing, they didn't even know about it. They hadn't heard. So I was just like behaving as if that didn't happen.
Yeah, there's definitely some disconnect in terms of like, what you just said, things happening 50 feet away that they're just oblivious to. That I don't know if that's something they're going to change to where they just like hear something or catch wind of it, or it makes some impact, or if they're just going to leave it the way it is. Because I guess if there's no one like having a conversation between the two parties, that they're not going to have any way of knowing. It would be pretty impressive if some way that's linked, but it's hard to do.
That's that line they have to walk as developers, where
Totally.
they have to decide between like fun and realism.
Totally.
Like there's no question, a lot of times things are just made significantly less real, so it's a lot less aggravating or just more fun. So yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Sometimes it's more immersive, but a lot of times a lot less fun, or a lot more like just frustrating and aggravating, like having to deal with that stuff. So yeah, it's it's a line.
It is 100%. Yeah. And they seem, for the most part, I think they seem to be walking it appropriately, at least in the version of the game that I played. Yeah. And all the stuff that I saw. So are you going to try to finish the early access, Zeke? Or are you going to wait for full release? Yeah. You are? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to play it all the way up till Tuesday when Yakuza releases.
Gotcha.
So the next few days I'll be doing Baldur Gate. I'm not sure how long it's going to take. It's probably going to take a lot longer than anybody else. Not only because it's me,
probably
but because
30 hours. I would say 30.
For
40.
every Chad's making every choice, if there is a choice.
Oh God. Okay.
I have a feeling that I'm going to be alienating some members of my party. Like, there are certain things that I've been doing that it's like, Stormwind or whatever the fuck it is. She didn't like that.
Yeah.
She didn't like that. She definitely didn't like that. Like, every choice I make, it's like, you are really not, she is not going to like us. That's the other thing I wanted to mention, though. The only person that feels like they want to be there with me is Gale. Like, everyone else seems to not like me very much. Like, why are we traveling together?
There's reasons for that, I'll say.
Okay.
If you do the right thing and go down the right path, you'll figure that out.
Okay.
Which is cool, because that's that line that they're writing of like, if you want an explanation as to why X is doing Y, there's a reason for that, which is great. It's cool that they've put that stuff in.
I did inadvertently, not on purpose, find the extra Gale scene or whatever.
Is that okay?
It just happened to happen, and like in one battle, he went down, and I was like, "Oh, shit!" And then this thing popped up. I was like, "Oh, haha, this is great."
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
So fun.
It was good. That's one of my favorite things in the game for sure. So cool. More Baldur's Gate in Zeke's future. Yep. It's good. I can't wait for that game to come
tomorrow.
Out. I can't wait for that game to fully release for sure.
Oh man, you're telling me. You are telling me.
It'll be a good one.
Have they said anything about like will your like? I'm assuming they're probably just wipe saves, but
oh yeah,
I would say probably they might not, but you're probably going to want to start over by how much stuff that they're going to add to it, like classes and races and all that stuff that are going to be added will be immense. Yeah. Like paladins and druids and
they were going to give you the option or not.
Oh, according to chat, Larian has said that they are wiping saves. They're going to be multiple save wipes. So,
I mean, I don't think anybody that's played through it is super heartbroken.
Yeah, right. Totally right. Totally right. I'm looking at the clock and seeing how much time we have. We don't have all of the time to go through the Indie Sunday, but I do want to talk about Monster Prom 2 Monster Camp because
let's not. It's fucking garbage. Whoever has anything to do with that game, they can go fuck. No, I'm kidding.
That's why I wanted to talk about it. Is to,
wow.
Shit all over our friend Jesse Cox.
and Dodger, of course.
Oh, well, I know Jesse Cox is a producer.
Dodger has a
Dodger
voice
has
in
a
the game,
voice.
right?
Well, a lot of
Yeah,
our
I
friends
think
have
so.
voices in it. Dodger's in
Yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah.
Octopimp's in there, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesse's an actual producer, I believe, for the game. So,
Yeah.
yeah. How is Monster Prom 2 Monster Camp? What'd you think?
It's if you like the first one, you like this one. It has the sense of humor is very much like what you expect. It's tongue in cheek. It's nerdy. There's a lot of like, this is like one of the choices is, it's a dating sim that I played with one other person, Anreal, which I will never pronounce your name right. I'm sorry. From my chat came in. He had the game, so we played it.
Oh, it's co-op or something? Oh, weird.
Yeah, and it's not versus. I don't think, even though it kind of seems like it is. It's more like co-op to reveal, to unlock everything, to unlock all the stuff.
Yeah.
It's like an achievement hunt, basically. Like you got this ending, or you got one of six these things, that kind of stuff. Like after the game was over, like, and you can choose to play short, medium, or long session, like 45 minutes, 1 hour, and I think an hour and a half are the sessions you can choose to play. And it's like a turn-based kind of board game-ish kind of style where it's you have like 5 or I don't remember how many there were, like 6, maybe 6 or 7 different places you can go. You can go to the lake, to the haunted house, to the forest, and then something happens there, and the object is to get someone to go to the meteor shower as your date. So you have to like figure out what that person likes, try and say the answers that would get them to, like you. And I ended up going to the meteor shower with a blue bodybuilding demon.
As you do.
And she was all into like, destroying the destruction and death and like being buff and like fighting and all that kind of stuff. So every time I came up to a choice, it was like, I'm going to pick the fightingest answer. And it was usually correct. By the end of it, we went to the meteor shower together. As far as the voice acting goes, there's not a lot in it. I'll be honest with you. It's interjections. Like you click on someone's option, and it won't say what the line says. It'll just say like, "That's awesome." You'll hear that when you select it.
Oh.
So it's little interjections here and there in the character's voice.
Gotcha.
So they very rarely say the lines that are printed. It's more like, "Oh yeah," when you pick something. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I see.
But yeah, it's a co-op dating sim kind of a thing. I played one full round, and it was all right. It's a little bit safe for my sense of humor. Like I would have liked it. I mean, it does like there's swearing in it, and there's lots of references, a lot of reference humor, nerd reference humor. But it's like the subject matter is pretty safe. It's kind of, I mean, it's chuckle, not laugh out loud kind of a thing for me.
Okay.
Is of like you'll let out a puff of air like that.
Is that more because your humor is different than the game's humor, or because the game just missed its mark? Okay. All right.
No. It hits exactly what it's aiming for, and I'm not the target audience.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Wait. Why does it say hot crotch in the bottom right? What is that?
I named my character Hot Crotch.
Oh. Okay.
But she has flames and stuff. That's her like thing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I love one of my favorite things in video games is the first thing is naming them.
Yeah.
So I can have a little giggle every time I see Nibeldem Shu'gahtitz.
What is Monster
With
Prom?
an apostrophe.
Of course. Yeah, that's the appropriate spelling. What is Monster Prom 2 Monster Camp run?
It is $11.99.
Oh.
However, Always love to see this and love to point it out. You can download a free demo
There you go.
on Steam. That's where I saw it. So if you want to check it out for free, you can get a demo.
Chad, it's time to return to the wonderful world of anime. Ko, how was 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim? Is this a porn thing? What is this?
Yes, at heart. No. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is a game that I got asked about a ton of times. And I kind of just always wrote it off. It was one of those situations where I saw a review that was like, it was okay. And I just had other things I wanted to play. And I said, whatever. Then I finally had some time and I was like, you know what? Okay. I'll give it a try. I had enough people ask me to try it that I was like, okay, fine. I'll give it a try. So the game starts, and it is a visual novel, a fully voice acted visual novel. It has a very nice anime art style for the actual gameplay. This is the second part of the game, which is the mech warfare portion. You control different people in mechs that you can kind of customize and skill out in this kind of top-down tactical way. There's different types of mechs that they break down into generations, and then you can assign them like special moves and different weapon types and upgrade those weapons and all sorts of stuff. Pretty cool part of the game for people that like mecha stuff. Now, one of the reasons that I played this game was a lot of people told me that it has a really good story, and I was like, oh, okay, like that's cool. So I went in kind of with expectations. I was like, we'll check out the story. So the first couple hours of the game went by, and to be honest, I was not really feeling it. A lot of high school drama. It uses a lot of the voice cast from Fire Emblem, which is pretty awesome. So if you've ever played Fire Emblem Three Houses, like many of those voices are in this game. So the voice acting is on point. The voices are good. But it was, there wasn't a lot going on, and I was not really kind of like super interested in anything I was seeing. Then it got to the end of like the first 4-hour block, and a few things happened where I was like, wait a second. Like, wait, that guy did that to all of them? And like, okay, we'll give this another stream. We'll give it another stream. And so then I played it the next time, and what's kind of cool is the game starts very on rails, where it's kind of like you're kind of walking through this prologue, and it's very like this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens. But then the game kind of really opens up to where you can like pick the different characters, and it has a flowchart system similar to like the Somnium Files or 999, if you're familiar with those. Then it starts getting just kind of crazy, and in case people want to try it, I don't want to spoil it too much, but it starts getting kind of nutty. Like all sorts of weird things start happening. There's like dimensional stuff and time travel stuff and like all this weird stuff, and all of a sudden like these really bad things start happening, and then other things start happening where it's kind of like, wait, are they all like this? And it starts really getting kind of nutty. On top of that, it's got some pretty good humor sometimes. It is a little fan servicey. So like, you're playing like basically high school students, and when they warp into their mechs, they all lose their clothes, and there's some very suspect positions it puts some of the girls in. Not like nudity, but definitely like, okay, they're trying. Like they're trying. And there's a couple characters that are just like thirst magnets, for sure. But it overall, I'd say that's like probably like 5 to 10% of the game. The most of the game is definitely centered around this very weird story that's going on. Like the relationships between the characters. The characters are, like I said, all voice acted, so they all kind of get their personality. And I gotta say, by the end of my second stream, I definitely was like, okay, like we're gonna keep playing this. I'm probably gonna be returning to it on Friday afternoon just to kind of see where it goes. Apparently, like the game kind of works in 4-hour blocks, where it's like at the end of the first 4 hours it starts getting kind of crazy, and then in the second block it gets significantly crazier, and then in the third it starts like just so. And I can confirm so far in the first 2 sections, in the first 8 hours, it has gotten very wild. Like lots of different things have been hinted at, lots of different directions have they've gone through. And I also like the storytelling style that it does, because very similar to Somnium Files, it's the kind of thing where you start in a room like this, and you go and talk to the people in the room, and one of them may say a keyword about something. and then you get to decide if you mention that keyword or not. And depending on that, you then go down like a path that divulges a bunch of story information. And then you can warp back to the beginning of that section. And you can, in that case, say the keyword or go to the place the keyword mentions. And then that goes off a different path. And that gives you like a whole bunch of different story information. So that makes the story present in like these predefined snips that the devs give you. And that kind of constantly gives things being introduced in ways that are always designed to kind of pique your interest. Like, wait, what did she mean like that? Like, why is this person having this dream? What is that dream? Like, is that really a dream? How does that work? When did this happen? Because just when something happens can have like a big impact on what it means to the story. So it gets pretty cool, and it's clearly going to be one of those games where not only do a lot of things happen, but finding out how it all fits together is a big part of the game as well. And then of course on top of all of this, there's the mechanical the mech combat simulation thing, which you can do independently of the story. So the way the story works is you have like a ring of characters, and you can play through those flowcharts, and you eventually get to a stopping point. And then when you go to pick a character, they're locked. And it'll say like, you have to get to this part in this other character, or you have to do this many other character stories before you can continue on this one. So it kind of forces you to bounce around characters. And then you can go to a completely different section when picking a character that lets you do those battles. And those unlock story things, more elements to like upgrade your mechs with different weapons, different like global weapons you can use in those situations, and all sorts of stuff. So it's a pretty big game. I think visual novel fans that especially like mecha and boobs will probably really enjoy the game.
Makes sense.
It's a PS4 exclusive.
These games are definitely like fence games for me. Like Somnium Files. I finished it the way I was supposed to finish it, but I felt like I played it longer than it was fun because I thought I kept thinking I was getting closer and closer to the end when it was further and further away. Do you think this game would appeal to me, honestly?
Well, here's the thing about this game.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when you're going through the character ring at the point of the game I'm at, about 8 hours in, I can play like 12 different characters. So I think one of the things that I've noticed that you kind of like in the visual novel games is if you're working towards something, like if there's kind of like an ending that you're going to. But at this point for me, I don't even know what the story is 8 hours in. Like so much is going on and so much is being divulged on so many different fronts that it's just kind of like, I feel with this game, a big part of it is actually figuring out the story. So it's like, I have no clue where this is going to end. I have no idea where it's taking us. For me, I kind of like that because they very much made it a central foundation of the game to figure out what's going on and to kind of figure out the direction. But if you're looking for like a singular backbone that kind of keeps you going down a path, it's not so much like that. It's more of like this big exploratory venture through this really weird world that has all sorts of different things going on. Now, that being said, because of the kind of, and this is slightly spoilery, but you kind of figure this out early on. Because of the way that the kind of like the time travel stuff works, of like where things are going. So that might help you kind of stay a little bit more focused than normal. But at the same time, like they don't always make it clear. And I don't even know this 8 hours in, like, are we changing things? Are they dimensions? Like it's never really concrete how it's working. And again, the fact that you're constantly playing in different times kind of always keeps you on your toes.
It reminds me of like a lot of the time travel games and shows, like the tropes that they follow. It's like, oh, you think you're changing shit, but everything you've done is already set. They reveal that at the end, like, it didn't matter what you did. Everything already happens, that kind of stuff. Or it actually does matter. Maybe you are changing things. That's a common thing for
they're doing enough in this one where it's very much at this point, it's very much just kind of like no idea. And I don't know, that may be a reoccurring theme throughout it. So yeah, we're gonna kind of have to see where it goes.
The only part of this that I saw that was like the dialogue part, it looked like it was very like the colors were super muted, lots of browns and grays and stuff. Is that Like the way it stays for the most part, or is it?
Oh, it jumps all over the place. The art
Like,
is
okay.
very nice. It's kind of classic anime styling. The animations are good. There is like a motion and control component where you actually move your character around and talk to people. You have this thing called a thought cloud, which is basically like concepts you've picked up on that character. And you know, if you learn a certain thing like about a burned out building, then when you walk up to other characters, it makes it very clear, like with an interact icon above their heads, like you can ask this person about that. And then you just kind of like go through your thing and ask them that. It also has this kind of nice forward moving mechanic where in the top right of the screen in those, it always tells you what is left to do. So like there's green blocks and red blocks, and the green blocks are like things you can go into your thought cloud and get more information on, and the red blocks are things you can talk to with people in the environment. So the pace is really good because you always feel like you're kind of moving forward, and you can always easily tell what you have left to do. So that's kind of cool. You are very much like things are happening pretty fast in the game. There is a lot of exposition, but it does kind of, you know, push you forward pretty quickly.
And I'm sorry, did you say? And I heard you say it was voice acted by some familiar names or familiar voices. What percentage of the game would you say is voice acted?
Most of the voices I've heard have been recognizable.
No. How much of the dialogue is voiced?
All of it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Everything
That's
is
good.
voice acted. Even when you go into their thought cloud and listen to their thoughts, they actually read their thoughts to you. Like it is basically fully voice acted. I think there's like one or two notes and stuff that you can read, and they're all short that kind of like, you know, aren't voice acted, but it takes you all of 15 seconds to read those, and then you're back in like 90 minutes straight of voice acting.
Did we catch that character in the tub or something?
No, now those are the mechs. So they warp into the mechs. Oh, those are tame. You should see the girls. Like the girls is like they'll be like laying down and looking back, and the picture will be like their entire.
You should have led with this because it would have made sense for me. This is from Vanillaware, the people that made Dragon's Crown and Muramasa, the Demon Blade. Dragon's Crown was that game that had like a barbarian where the barbarian's ass was like 10 times the size of her head, or like a magician who had a chest like 30 times the size of her head. So it's very much like ridiculous.
There's an entire character that I just deemed plot.
Yes.
And literally like her in every position she has is called presenting, if you're familiar with that term, where she's just like, no matter what she does, she's like sticking her butt out directly to the camera and, you know, faced away and like turning just enough so she's got like her boobs in profile, and it is ridiculous. And she wears, of course, a black leather skin tight suit.
Of course.
So, you know, there's definitely a little of that in the game. It's not the entire game. I was a little bit concerned at first, like how far are they going to go with this? But it's just, you know, it's there's a little fan service here and there.
I think like back in the old days of 2013, when Dragon's Crown came out, there was a lot of controversy about like how they portrayed women in a lot of their art back then. So it's those diffs. If you are at all familiar with that stuff, all you gotta do is Google Dragon's Crown and you'll get a good eyeful right away. But yeah, I have not seen anything of that thus far.
No,
I have not seen, at least in this, 30 minutes that I've been scanning here of Kozvod, that, but
there's one. You just missed.
Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. But yeah, this art looks very reminiscent of Vanillaware in general. So yeah, it looks good. I've also heard a lot of people say, pretty positive things about this game as well.
Yeah. And I can vouch, like the story definitely, it starts slow, especially for people like me that prefer, like I like anime, but I like Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, Ergo Proxy, standalone complex. Like I like animes that aren't just, high school stuff. And for people like me, it definitely starts slow. But I'm pleased to say that it definitely starts picking up, and all sorts of weird sci-fi interesting things start happening. Generally around like the 3 to 4 hour mark, and then it just keeps kind of going up.
Yeah. Cool. We got about 10 minutes. I think we could fit this in. Zeke, I know you were a huge fan of.
Hold on.
Oh.
What have you been playing, JP?
Watch Dogs and Destiny. That's it. That's why there's no reason to talk about Destiny. It's just old stuff.
You don't want to talk about Destiny. It's just like it's there.
No, neither of you don't have interest in it, and I'm doing old content. It's not new, so I'll talk about it when it's new next week.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Yeah. And I have not been playing Final Fantasy 14 whatsoever. That's not a game that I play.
So how's Final Fantasy 14 been going?
About 200 hours since August, probably. Yeah, September.
Me thinks you doth protest too much.
It's a meme on my stream that whenever I just stop talking, it's because I've loaded up Final Fantasy and I'm doing my retainers every literal hour. I have a clock on my phone that reminds me to log in every hour. And yeah, but we don't play it or talk about it because for some reason the viewership just starts to go down when people hear it. It's weird. Anyways, we got about 10 minutes. Let's talk about the Dark Pictures anthology. They put out another one called Little Hope. The first one it wasn't Man of Medine. There was another one that I think Zeke you played. Until Dawn. Yes. Yeah, it was
Until Dawn. I played a little bit of Man of Medan.
Yeah.
Which is such a fun title to say.
That's a good name. Little Hope just came out. I think there was a trailer for the next one as well, I think at the end of this game, but how was Little Hope? I'm also going to start with the VOD pretty early on, so spoilers are not going to be there. Ko, what'd you think about it?
I thought it was an improvement over the last one. I did enjoy it. I played with Barry, who is a phenomenal coder, a great dude. Terrible at these games.
Yeah, I don't know why you would subject yourself to that part.
How can you be terrible at these games? It's just choices.
Because there's hotkey prompts to like save people, and I mean, I tell you, he just like I don't know if he maybe he doesn't look at the controls when he uses them, or maybe I
think when they pop up, he's thinking about how they could be more, they could be better, they could be more accessible.
Probably.
Why would you use D for that?
It's kind of funny.
Don't you D for that?
It's kind of funny because what would happen is anytime one of these cutscene things would happen, because the way that it works is now this is interesting. The way that it works, kind of similar to the other games, is that when you're doing something mundane, like just walking through fog or something like that, a lot of times the other person is like in a high action sequence, and you're just kind of like spinning time while they're doing it. And what's hilarious is anytime that would happen, is like my chat would load up with, "Oh God, Barry! Oh no, he missed another one! Oh God! Oh." I'd be sitting here like, oh God, Barry's like screwing up. Like, oh, this is like, this guy's totally going to die. And then like 5 times the next thing would happen. I just got banned from your chat. Thanks, Barry. 5 times.
What happens?
Like like Barry's character would then just walk out of the mist. Like everything's fine. Like it's all good. And by the end of the game, I actually don't think he killed. I think he only killed one. No. Yeah, he did kill one person, but it was on purpose. But that's a different thing.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a ride. The story had some interesting twists I wasn't necessarily expecting. Okay. And it made a good co-op thing. I definitely like when I got to it, I like one of the first things I asked Barry is like, "Hey, you want to play through it again?" Because like important stuff happens on the other side. And I'm curious to see it. And we actually came to the decision that we're gonna like play all of them eventually, and we're just gonna both flip the sides as we go through them.
So
yeah, it was good. Like I had a good time with it. It was like a solid fun. Like I had a good time playing through.
How long?
Barry, what? 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours? Something like that, I want to say. I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't that long. 5 hours, people think 5 hours.
What happens if you play the game completely solo?
I don't know, but there is a solo option. So that was a question we got a lot during it. Like, what happens if you play solo? I don't know if it just like you play one character, then the next character, then the next character. Like maybe you just go down the part that's normally co-op. Oh, you do play both sides. So yeah, I could see that for somebody that wants to play the whole story, like solo may be the way to go, because there were definitely times when I like would realize, or Barry would say like a quip or something that happened from his, and we made sure not to talk too much about the two different sides because it's kind of a part of it, like just, you know, experiencing it. But there were definitely a few times when Barry would make a quip about something, and I would be like if he knew that, that means he got like really important information on his side that I didn't even get hinted at. So yeah, like it's if you are going to play it co-op, you may, if you want to get the whole experience, you may want to get ready for 2 playthroughs.
Cool. Yeah, same thing that happened with I just forgot the name, Until Dawn. I like watching full playthroughs of this. I watched Lyric play all of it. I watched a good portion of Ko and Barry's playthrough. If Zeke plays it, I'll probably watch his. I think it's just fun to see how what happens when different people encounter a different situation, for sure. So I hope they continue making more of these because they're a lot of fun to watch from a viewership perspective or from a viewer
So
perspective.
you're not planning on playing it yourself, JP?
No, I've ruined, just like I did with Until Dawn. I've watched so many permutations of the game that I know a lot
Oh,
of
okay.
what happens if X, Y, or Z situation occurs. So I kind of ruined it for me in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. Probably not. I probably will not play it.
One thing I will say, and at the end of the game, when I talked about this, apparently chat was very adamant that it was just me being dumb, which I don't I don't deny in the slightest.
As you do.
And I should have honestly. Apparently it was like this in the last game too, and I just forgot. But in case you are like me, and you are an idiot, or just not super observant, one thing that's important to know about these games is, and this isn't really a spoiler, but I feel like it possibly could enrich your own playthrough if you choose to do it. Keep in mind that these games are about playing the characters as they would be themselves, not as you would be. Each of the characters have like character bios you can read that tell you about the characters. So this game is much probably more interesting and enjoyable if you don't necessarily just pick the safest answers every time, like you would pick if you were every character. But try to play each character as they are as people. And I don't want to spoil it or leave it any more than that, but it would probably make it a little bit more of a fulfilling experience. And I have a feeling the game is also like designed to be played that way.
Trying to think of who would be the most fun person to co-op this with for me.
I think you should. Shannon was such a huge fan of your Until Dawn stuff. You should play this with Shannon.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Or of course,
good choice. Maybe I'll hit her up.
Yeah.
This also seems up Classy's alley, like with the kind of horror elements
Sure.
and everything. Like you probably really enjoy it.
It
is a very cool.
Oh, you mean my girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I'd like to have eardrums when this is done. So
I was going to say it's a very cooperative experience. You very much work together, so it can be fun for that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Also,
now I have to play it with her. If I don't, I look like a fucking asshole. Thanks, Co. Thanks for pigeonholing me like that.
Hey, you don't need my help.
Zeke, to answer your question from earlier, why wouldn't I play? I did play this. I just deleted the VOD, just like Resident Evil 7 VR. Any really horror game. I'm a huge horror fan. I just deleted all the VODs. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh man, I tell you,
would have been. I would have liked
Twitch,
to
huh?
Yeah. Fucking Twitch, man. I wish we didn't have to delete them so I could show it to people. Would have been nice. What does that game cost, by the way? Is that a under $20, under 30? Where is that at?
You know what? Let me check right now. By the way, I think this is I want to say the third of 8. They're going to make 8 of these types of games. So yeah, it's $30. $30.
$30. There you go.
Yep. And this is the third one, chat. Third of 8. Yeah, third of 8. So it'll be interesting. I got to say, like, when they actually come out with all 8 of these, the idea of spending a few days like co-oping through them, that's going to be kind of cool. I'm very curious if there's going to be like big running themes that we're gonna see as we kind of get towards the end of the anthology. So they're fun, man.
The narrator's the same throughout the games, right? The narrator guy. Yeah. Okay.
All narrator right. Character.
Gotcha. Yeah. Also, for anyone wondering, the name of the game is Man of Medine: Little Hope Until Dawn. That's the name of it. There's no Dark Pictures anthology or anything there for people that.
Oh wait, people say it's the second of 8. So Until Dawn isn't actually part of it. Well, it's not called the Dark Anthologies Until Dawn, is it? No, it's not. That's a good point. Okay.
Oh.
So there's Man of Medan's the first one, and then this is the second one.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. All right, that's gonna be our show. So we can do some shout outs and then wrap it up. Call it. We're not making any calls or projections here at the end. We're not gonna call the show. It's too early to do that, but we will do some shout outs. So, Zeke, give us some key race alerts here.
You bet. All right. Looks like the race for North Carolina is edging for Co-Carnage. Co-Carnage looking good. Dark Horse JP is coming up with 96% of the precincts
69%.
reporting. 69% of the
Nice.
precincts reporting in. They're calling it a nice election thus far. What's up? My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I will be watching the Gone TTRPG, ostensibly the final show of that run. After this, in about 30 minutes, I will be watching. I might be on it. Who knows? But then tomorrow, we continue our Baldur's Gate 3 Chad choice run. Yes, Chad is choosing all my choices. If you want me to attack, I will. If you want me to become a simp, I will. If you want me to turn into a homunculus, that is what happens. So I'll be starting that at 10 a.m. or resuming that at 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. And we'll be playing that until Yakuza comes out, if it takes that long. We'll see. Maybe you'll throw in the Man of Medan, nasty hopes and dreams until dawn thing.
That's
in
the
between
name. There you go. Ko, do some shout outs.
Absolutely. Hello, my name is Ko. As always, a big thanks to JP and Zeke. Another very fun. Oh, chat. Yeah, chat is chat. Zeke's name for chat.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, my name is Ko. I'm going to be doing Cozy Hades tonight, as we're finally getting to the end of it. I promise, possibly. And then we'll also be moving into Noita later this week. During the day, we're going to be doing Witcher 3, probably some more 13 Sentinels, maybe looking at some other fun stuff as we get closer to the weekend and into the next releases. And yeah, that's really about it. So hope to see you guys in the channel. I will see you guys in just about 2.5 hours. And see you next week if I don't see you then.
Is that a car?
Or the week after, whenever we do it.
Someone just started an engine near you. What was that?
That is my garage door opening, I think.
Okay.
I work above my garage.
I thought that was the new horse you got. I thought that was the horse.
Oh, that's Roach. Yeah, he's outside, doing his thing.
Doing horse things. Yeah. Hi. Hello. Maybe an episode next week. We were talking about it earlier today. We might take next week off since it's going to be kind of the new console week launch, plus like every game coming out in about a 4 or 5 day period. So we'll let you guys know if we are skipping next week or if there's going to be a show later in the week or what the plan is as soon as we know. In terms of what's coming up on the channel here, I will most likely be taking the rest of the day off. Tomorrow we'll probably do some more Destinies. We have some final things to figure out and get sorted before the big launch of that on the 10th. And then probably checking out some other stuff a little bit early before the big releases next week. And then we'll jump into the big releases. Yakuza, Demon Souls, Spoodermans, all of that stuff and more sometime next week. And hopefully we'll get our PS5. I really hope Walmart doesn't fuck us, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Speaking of that, Zeke, are you going to play Bug Snacks? Is one of us playing Bug Snacks?
Is that out right now?
No, it's a PS5 thing.
I have no desire.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay. All right. Someone's got to
bring
check
in
out
a
Bug Snacks.
Bug Snacks correspondent.
Yeah, we need a Bug Snacks correspondent. Maybe Dodger might play Bug Snacks. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe Jesse. I don't know.
It sounds like a cutesy game. Is it a cutesy game?
It's a weird.
It's
that
weird
game where they would like touch things and their body would become those things, and it was like super weird and
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's got a lot of buzz right now. It's from the Octodad developer, if that helps.
Oh, okay. So it could get like absurd or weird, really weird. Okay.
oh,
Yeah.
it's very.
I might have to give that another look, but yeah, I'm not on the PS5 like train waiting list, whatever. I don't have one coming right now. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll figure it out. We'll get someone on who does so we can talk about it as well as everything else that comes out next week, because everything comes out next week. And we'll have that for our show. So thank you everyone for watching. Try not to stay glued to the news all that much here in the US. Take a break every once in a while. And we'll see you when we see you. Thank you so much. That's Drop Frames. We're out. Bye-bye.